The last time Governor Tim Pawlenty tried to save us money, we wound up spending millions of dollars to replace a bridge that fell into the river.
And it will likely get worse in the next year as thousands more Minnesotans lose their jobs.
So, 3, 2.
As Governor Pawlenty lit this Christmas tree, it became the only bright spot at an otherwise gloomy state capitol.
The current economic forecast, to use a technical term, is just plain ugly.
Here's how ugly. There's a projected $426 million deficit through the fiscal year ending next June, and another $4.8 billion projected through 2011, a total of $5.2 billion.
We intend to respond to this crisis boldly, aggressively, and focus on getting the problem fixed.
Governor Pawlenty ordered immediate 10% spending cuts in most state agencies to begin taking care of the short-term deficit. For the bigger, longer-term deficit, the governor will call for major government reform.
We're going to do that without adding additional burdens to the hardworking families and taxpayers of Minnesota by making sure we don't raise taxes as part of this process.
But Democrats who control the House and Senate say they'll focus on creating jobs, and nothing is off limits.
We're going to look at every option out there that's available, and I think it's important to keep everything on the table.
The weather outside is frightful.
The weather outside was frightful as the governor lit the Christmas tree, but not nearly as frightful as the budget deficit. So it comes down this holiday season to another classic battle between spending cuts and tax increases. Governor Pawlenty has opposed tax increases during most of his term as governor, his 2 terms as governor. He has won most of those battles, but with bigger Democrat majorities in the House and Senate, he has a much tougher battle on his hands this time around. Live at the state capitol, Tom Hauser, 5 Eyewitness News.
And after allowing the governor to use Jesus for a photo op, they decided to distract our attention from real issues with this stupid report about the Minnesota Vikings.
These guys were eager to get back to work. It started last night. Both Pat and Kevin went straight from the Hennepin County Courthouse to Winter Park to go over the Lions' game plan. And today, it was business as usual. Number 93 and number 94 were on the indoor practice field getting ready to play this Sunday in Detroit. As of right now, the Williams Wall will be standing and in full force at Ford Field. And their teammates are thrilled to have them back. But Jared Allen got a bit testy in the locker room today when asked if the Williams situation was becoming a distraction to the team.
Not to be jerks, but the media guys, I mean, you guys are the ones that create the distraction because it's always, oh, we got another question about it, we got another this about it. You know, we're just playing football.
We're not really making it a distraction, you know, unless you focus on it and make it one here in the locker room. You know, we have a job to do.
I guess we'll find out if it's a distraction sometime on Sunday. Now, coming up in sports, we'll have more reaction on the return of Kevin and Big Pat, and we'll talk to AP about the challenges of playing the winless Lions. A very dangerous game this week.
Yeah.
As we monitor what's going on in the courtrooms.
Exactly.
Thanks,
All
Phil.
right.
They didn't even have time to tell you who the judge was because they had to turn to this propaganda from the National Guard. Notice the failure to say if the Gatling cannon uses depleted uranium rounds.
Leah McLean introduces us to some of these special Minnesota airmen and women.
Bagram Air Base is like its own city, and Minnesotans hold a variety of jobs around the city. They work in communication, maintenance, operational support, healthcare. They work on the airstrip and in the air.
There's nothing else in the world I'd rather be doing.
Lieutenant Colonel David Dressel, a Minnesota native, has spent more time flying an A-10 fighter jet than almost any other Air Force pilot.
I topped over the 3,000-hour mark in the A-10. The gun itself comes back to a portion back here, but
only about 4 other pilots have spent more than 3,000 hours in this specific aircraft. Dressel has been involved in dangerous combat missions, but he'd rather talk about the makeup of the plane.
We use hydraulics, mechanical lines to fly the aircraft. Oh, it's always fun and cool. It's always fun and cool.
All the pilots have support on the ground. Master Sergeant Will Piper works to make sure that the cargo planes are ready to fly.
Long hours. You know, we're looking at 12-hour shifts every day, 7 days a week. You know, 24-hour operation. We don't ever stop.
And, like in the Twin Cities, journalists document news on the base.
Just to tell the story and see the great things that airmen sacrifice every day. They go on so many deployments, do so many great things, and this is the only way to really tell everybody what we do.
Captain Sherry Savage is traveling with the 133rd and updating the Minnesota Air National Guard website. We found Minnesotans in the Army, Air Force, and Marines, all at Bagram Air Base. In Afghanistan, Leah McLean, 5 Eyewitness News.
Now you can follow Assignment Afghanistan online. Leah and Chief Photographer Joe Caffrey are blogging about their experiences and posting pictures. It's all at KSTP.com. Just click on Assignment Afghanistan.